Mr. Mora?
Yeah,
Officer Olson.
yeah, righto. Well, so I'm tending bar down there at Eklund and Swedlin's last Tuesday, and this little guy's drinking, and he says, so where can a guy find some action? I'm going crazy out there at the lake. And I says, what kind of action? And he says, woman action. What do I look like? And I says, well, what do I look like? I don't arrange that kind of thing. And he says, but I'm going crazy out there at the lake. And I says, yeah, but this ain't that kind of place.
Uh-huh.
He says, oh, so I get it. So you think I'm some kind of jerk for asking, only you don't use the word jerk.
I understand.
Then he calls me a jerk, says last guy thought he's a jerk is dead now. So I don't say nothing. He says, what do you think about that? And I says, well, that don't sound like too good a deal for him then.
You got that right.
Yeah, he says, yeah, that guy's dead, and I don't mean of old age. And then he says, geez, I'm going crazy out there at the lake.
White Bear Lake?
Yeah, well, at Eklund and Swedlin, that's closer to Moose Lake, so I made that assumption.
Oh, sure.
Anyway, he's drinking at the bar, so I don't think a whole great deal of it. But then Mrs. Mora, she heard about the homicides down here and thought I should call it in, so I called it in. End of story.
Well, what this guy look like, anyways?
Oh, he's a little guy, kind of funny looking.
Uh-huh. In what way?
Oh, just in a general kind of way.
Okay. Well, thanks a bunch, Mr. Mora. You're right. It's probably nothing. But thanks for calling her in.
Sure. Looks like she's gonna turn cold tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Got a front coming in.
Yeah, you got that right.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to this week's episode of Zach and Jay's Ticket Stubs podcast. I am one half of your hosts. I am Zach.
Hi, and I'm the other half of your host. I'm Jay. How's
Jay.
it going, guys?
What's going on, guys? Welcome to this week's episode of the show. Zach, you know how we start the show off. What you been up to, my man?
What have I been up to? Not much, man. One of the big things, one of my accomplishments for the week is I read a book.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I actually finished the whole book. You know, the girl who wrote Gone Girl.
Yeah.
I read one of her other books, the one that I bought at Books A Million.
Okay.
Sharp Objects.
Yeah.
That book, sad as fuck. It was a really,
Yeah,
it was a really sad story, but it was good. I got to the end of it, and I was like, yeah, I'll read more of her shit. She has good stuff. But
What was it called again?
it was called Sharp Objects.
Okay.
And then I'm about to read her last book that she came out with called Dark Places.
Dark. Okay, so I remember looking at the back cover of her novels at like a bookstore, and I'm like, I'm looking at the back cover, and it's like they're all about like women doing sad things or something like that.
Yeah, I think Gone Girl is like the only one that's like the main character like isn't a woman, but it still kind of is.
Gone Girl is definitely the main character.
Yeah.
It's definitely Amy. She's
Yeah.
just the difference perspective of you're really looking at Amy's life.
Yeah.
But you're just kind of seeing this what it's causing Nick,
Yeah.
whatever his name is, Ben Affleck's character in the movie.
Yeah.
No, totally a girl.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I also saw Gone Girl.
Oh yeah.
It was a really good movie. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, dude, it's David Fincher. Like Gone Girl is so good, and it's David Fincher. Like, man, every shot is so precise.
Yeah.
And every shot is so well crafted, and the acting. And what I really like about Gone Girl, what I mentioned last week on our movie of the year episode, was that, dude, the color correction and the colors were so nice.
It was a really good movie to see. It was a very bright movie, which I wasn't expecting because it's kind of like a more depressing type of theme to it. But it was really, really bright, like a lot of the time. Which, I mean, I guess you don't really expect that from like a type of movie like that, like a murder mystery type thing.
Let alone David Fincher.
Yeah,
You know.
like looking at like Seven and stuff like that. Like a lot of his movies aren't like really, really bright. So to see like that kind of contrast with that story was interesting.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. And that the whole cast does so well in that movie. Ben
They were
Affleck's
amazing.
Rosamund Pike, who plays Amy, is so great. Like, she needs to win an Oscar or something for that role. But the one person who I really liked a lot, who I didn't think I would like, was freaking Tyler Perry.
Oh my god! I saw his name come up. I was like, "Motherfucking Tyler Perry's in this movie?"
Yeah, I was like, dude, Tyler Perry, what? And then I actually really like his character a lot. I think
I liked his character a lot. Like the kind of divorcee, know-it-all lawyer was. He did really well in that role. I wasn't expecting.
Hold on a second.
But
We were talking about Tyler Perry.
Yeah, Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry's role in that movie was it was definitely an unexpected performance from him for sure. Yeah.
Completely agree. I mean, and just in general, also, what's his name? Neil Patrick Harris. Dude, that guy, he was so good.
He was really weird as like that kind of. I didn't know what to expect from it at first. I feel like there's more about his character like in the book, but like especially like when they were kind of like hinting on like their childhood and like what happened when in high school and everything, I was like, I really want to fucking know like how they ended their relationship, because it's obviously not ever what she actually says that like broke up their relationship. So now I'm trying to figure out like what actually happened and why he's so attached to her still.
It's funny too, because like that scene when she kills him, spoiler I guess, when she's like when they're like having sex or whatever, whatever you want to call it, and she's like sucking his dick, like this is how good David Fincher is at making movies. He made sure to add the sound effect of a mouth and saliva. And then like I was watching some like Conan or Fallon or something like that where they had her on the show, and she was explaining like how her and Neil Patrick Harris made that scene happen, like how they worked it out. Right. And David Fincher was like, "Hey guys, go alone to the soundstage for like an hour and just work it out. And I'm gonna come back and then we're gonna see how it looks." So and she's like saying like, "Well, it's me and Neil Patrick Harris who like I have a husband, he has a husband, like." This is awkward, and then apparently they figured it out. They brought David Fincher on the soundstage. All right, David, here we go. He goes, hold on. He brings in Ben Affleck. All right, now go and show us the scene. But that scene is so good. I'm so happy because that movie comes out this month on Blu-ray. Yeah. So I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, sure. It was definitely a fantastic movie.
Now that you've seen it, would that change your movie of the year? You think? Or no?
I don't think it would, but I think for like you, I think it's a very close second for me behind Grand Budapest. But I still think I enjoyed Grand Budapest overall more. Okay. I don't know. There was something about that movie that I really enjoyed it, and I don't know, something about that movie like really caught my attention more than Gone Girl did. Gone Girl is a great story, and David Fincher is an amazing director, but there was just something about Wes Anderson's movie that was just it appealed more to me.
Sure, I gotcha. Okay,
but Gone Girl, definitely a close second.
What else have you been watching, man?
I watched the Riddick sequel, the newest one that he did.
Riddick?
The one he did like a year ago. Like 2013 or something like that. Yeah, it was interesting. It was basically Pitch Black again. Okay. Same premise and anything. Like wasn't on a planet by himself. He was on a planet by himself. Some people came. They tried to kill him, and all of a sudden, some shit happens, and aliens pop out of nowhere, and they have to survive the night.
See, I really wanted to see that movie. Cause I really like those movies. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. Something about that
actually
whole
really
series.
like Chronicle. I actually really like Chronicles.
So good, dude. That movie is so good. That because like you have Pitch Black, which is just like it's like almost like an alien ripoff kind of.
Yeah,
it's like,
it really is.
It's like what's a
they even
kind
of look like aliens.
Yeah, it's like a horror thriller. It's like Vin Diesel. It's like oh my gosh, it's so freaking campy. But then Chronicles Riddick is like, dude, this is like a space opera type of thing, and it's like so cool. Especially that first scene in the movie where they're on the planet and people are like searching through stuff. It's like hell yeah, dude! You can tell Rick's a badass. It's so cool. Yeah, it was really awesome to see it. It was, but it was basically the same thing, except instead of the aliens like only being out in the nighttime, they only come out when it's like raining really really hard because they're like amphibians or some BS. Hold on, in Chronicles of Riddick, right?
Yeah.
The main bad guy that's not Joaquin Phoenix. That's
No.
That's Carl
Which
Urban?
one?
Is that Carl Urban?
Carl Urban is one of the like generals under like the main bad guy in that movie.
Who's like the prince trying to be like the main leader? That's not
guy who is the main leader is oh my god, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I can't remember it either.
Like I recognized him, but I couldn't remember exactly what his name was.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
So that guy was a good bad guy.
Yeah, he was really awesome as that kind of Colm Fiore.
Okay, I don't remember that guy.
I don't know. Let's see what else he was in Thor.
Who are you playing Thor?
I have no idea. Hold on, let me see. Let's see. Thor.
He's probably some sidekick or something.
Yeah, he's probably some really small role. Yeah, he's not even. Hold on.
Yeah, okay. Not even credited for anything.
Not anything up for. Okay, Laufey. I don't know who that is.
Okay,
He must have been like a Shield agent or something like that.
Is that brother to Loki or something?
I don't know.
Brothers.
The long lost brother.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I saw that. Last night actually, I watched the first 2 episodes of Dexter.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you like it?
I liked it a lot. I
Yeah.
like kind of Dexter's character, and like,
dude, he's so great.
He makes me laugh for some reason because like the way he doesn't understand emotions is just funny to me.
Well, you should keep watching because I love Dexter, and I'm almost done with it, which I'll get to when I talk about what I'm doing. But they're based on books, and they're dark comedy. They're not like it's
right.
It's like they're crime books, but they're made to be like dark comedy, like our movie this week. They're very similar in tone, and Dexter that's what the comedy is, man. So he's. I don't get society. I don't get people because I don't fit in.
I don't understand emotions or anything like that. Like, I don't know what you're feeling right now, so I'm just gonna...
Episode 1 is so good at setting up the whole story.
It really is. It was fantastic.
Because the first line of the season, the first episode's like his little tonight's the night. It's gonna happen.
His little monologue about like Miami and stuff like that. And
he says that for like 4 seasons every opepening, and it's like, it's so good.
Yeah.
And I think episode 1, correct me if I'm wrong, has the scene where Sergeant Dokes, the black guy, is like, God. You creep me out, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Sergeant Dokes. Like, I know you're supposed to hate him, and I do. Like, he's just a total douchebag and a tool.
Yeah.
But at the same time...
But he's the good guy.
Yeah, but he is the good guy, but it's like he's the most unlikable good guy there ever was.
Totally. Yeah, dude, you should keep watching if you have time. I mean, Dexter season 1 is at least watch season 1. Season 1 is so good. You can stop it there if you want, but season 1 is great television.
Yeah, yeah. Season 1 was really good. I was watching with some friends last night, and we watched the first 2 episodes, and we were like, "This is really good." But then it was like 2 a.m., and I was like, "I gotta go."
Yeah, dude. Season 1 has the best twist in TV, like I've seen in a long, long time.
Wow.
And they really, because those characters, everyone in Dexter in that show, all the characters are so lovable to an extent. I mean, like you love Dexter from the get go.
Yeah.
You either love or hate Rita. You either love or hate Dokes. You either love or hate LaGuerta, and then Angel. And my favorite character besides Dexter is Vince Masuka. The bald Japanese guy. I think he's an amazing character. But yeah, it's so good, so good.
Yeah, and the very last thing I did, the last thing I'll talk about is me catching up on The Flash.
Okay, yeah.
Watch the mid-season finale. It was really good.
Mid-season already? Okay, dang.
Yeah, it was mid-season, like, I think sometime in December, something like that.
Gotcha,
They're like 9 episodes in, and then they're restarting it on the 20th of this month, January.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like 2 weeks. Yeah, it's really fast. Okay. But the season finale, they brought in the Reverse Flash finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really talk about him all that much. They just like, the Reverse Flash is here. Bow down.
How was his outfit? Did they have the costume and everything, or did you just saw blurs?
See, when he was actually like talking to like Flash and the detectives and all that, like he's doing the whole vibrating thing and you can't really see it. But at the end, spoiler, you see Harrison Wells, the doctor in that, he goes into his little like futuristic science room and he ends up like putting on like the flint ring like the Flash has where he keeps his costume.
Yeah.
And he like opens up some like secret secret door in his secret room. And it has his Reverse Flash costume, and he like uses his ring to unlock it and like put some sort of device on it, and I think it's like feeding him like Speed Force energy or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, shit was pretty crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have to
So
watch
I'm excited. That. Yeah, and the mid-season premiere when they come back is going to be Captain Cold and is taking on.
I've seen zero of this show except for like the him and Arrow.
Yeah.
I've seen the commercials for Flash.
Right.
A friend of mine at my work, at my job, did show me, because they watch the show and they love it.
Right.
And they tell me all the time to watch it.
Yeah.
They showed me the scene on the train with Captain Cold.
Yeah, with Captain Cold.
I was like, I was worried that they're gonna make him look really hokey.
No, yeah,
he looks really cool.
Yeah, he looks awesome. I like him a lot. I'm excited to see what they do with Heatwave.
Okay, yeah.
But
they told me Firestorm's gonna be in it.
Yeah, Firestorm was in. He was in the mid-season finale too.
Isn't Firestorm
it's weird, though.
2 people?
No, yeah, that's what I don't understand, because it's like it's not the traditional Firestorm of like the costume or anything like that. Yeah. Like it's just one of the main girls, Caitlin. It's like her ex-fiance, because he died in the reactor blow up that caused a flash. He was in the pipeline that blew up. So everybody thought he was vaporized, and all of a sudden he's back. He has like fire powers, and he was like, in the mid-season finale, like she came up to him and she was like, "Your name's Remy or whatever. Like, come home, we'll figure out who you are." And he's like, "I know who I am. I'm Firestorm." And at the end, he like blasted the reverse flash with fire, and he was like, "Don't come looking for me." He shot his hands up in the air and did the Human Torch shit and flew away.
That sounds kind of lame, actually.
Yeah, it was really cheesy, but I mean, I don't know. I'm sure we'll see more of him.
Making him one person and then does he have a fire head?
Yeah, he does. He has
his hair's on fire.
It's not like all the time. Like he can turn his powers on and off. So it's like, but when he turns his powers on, like he'll get the fire hands and like his head goes on fire.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. All right. Yeah. I need to watch it. I'll probably watch it when it's done, honestly, because I hate waiting for stuff to come out. So I'll probably wait for Netflix to get it or, whatever else I can VOD or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but I definitely recommend it. It's a really good show.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Grant Gustin.
Yeah.
Or is that his name? Grant Gust?
Gustin, I think.
I think he's not my first. He wasn't my very first pick to play Barry Allen because just the way he doesn't have blonde hair.
Yeah, he doesn't look anything like Barry.
Yeah, something very like you kind of need this. Yeah, and he doesn't seem that smart. It's my same argument with Peter Parker. He doesn't seem that smart, and Barry Allen's a CSI. He needs to be smart. Yeah. But I mean, other than that, he seems really funny and lighthearted, so I'm down for it.
He's pretty smart in the movie too, or not the movie in the TV show.
Is he okay?
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
So that's all you've been up to?
Yeah. So what have you been up to, Jason?
All right, Zach, take a seat, boy, because
am I about to stretch my legs for a little bit?
You're about to. I have a lot of stuff.
Okay, I'm ready. Lay it on me.
So first thing, last week after we did our show last week,
right?
I stopped watching Dexter at season 7.
Okay.
I mentioned last week I finished season 6, whatever.
Right.
Some stuff happened. At season 7, there's 8 seasons.
Right.
I stopped that to watch Breaking Bad.
Okay.
Okay. So I only watched like the first half of season 1 or whatever.
Right.
I will finish Dexter.
Yeah.
Because I'm writing my series review on it, which is so far a really long review.
It's a really long review?
I
mean, it's got to be. It's 8 seasons.
The Google Documents file is so long. And I'm like, I'm like recapping my thoughts on it, not like a full review or anything.
Right.
I'm going season by season. I'm like, by the time I get to season 5, I was like, maybe I should just did one comprehensive review. I can't change it now. Fuck. So
yeah,
I have to finish season 7 and 8 before I can post that, which I will eventually.
Right.
But I'm watching Breaking Bad. I am
still have not seen that show at all.
I am midway, or I'm like a little bit more than midway through season 3 of 5.
There's only I was about to say there's only like 5 seasons.
Yeah, there's 5 seasons. I'm almost done with season 3.
Right.
It's not bad.
Okay.
It's not something people praise that show so much.
I want to say season 4 is the best because that's when I heard the most about it. After season 4 going into season 5. So I'm assuming that season 4 is like the best season, but I don't know. I mean, I watched a few episodes with my friends because they've watched it, and I watched like scattered episodes, and I was like, I mean, it's all right. It's not like mind blowing like everybody was making it believe the episodes that I saw, but I mean, you probably have to be like watching it all the way through to know what the hell's going on. But I mean, like just watching those few episodes, which I think they were early on. I think we were only in like the 2nd season, but I mean, it wasn't mind blowing to me. It wasn't amazing. It was good. Yeah. It wasn't a bad show. But I mean, it didn't.
From what I've been watching, from what I've seen, it's definitely not a bad show. Don't get me wrong. It's a good show. It's definitely a solid good show. And the characters are developed really well, and they're funny, and you get why their motives are there, and that's really good, cohesive stuff. But people make this show seem like it's the second coming of Christ.
Yeah.
They're like Breaking Bad, so good. Bryan Cranston, Walter White, the Heisenberg, Jesse is so good. Bitch, all this stuff. And like my dad loves the show, and I take my dad's opinion very strongly when it comes to television. We both have very good taste in television. And I'm watching the show. I'm like, I get it. I get why this show is so good. But I've seen everything this show has done before already on different shows that weren't as popular.
Yeah.
A good example is people think this show is so like groundbreaking and so pushing the edge, but it's like, dude, you should have watched The Shield on FX. No, however, 2006 or whatever, 2005.
Yeah.
That show, it was this show before it happened. The level of that's my big problem is that I've seen what Breaking Bad has done already through The Wire or Sopranos or
Right.
whatever show it may be, especially The Shield.
Yeah.
So I'm really enjoying it, but I've definitely seen the same type of storytelling before. Not necessarily per se by a drug dealer who has cancer or whatever.
Right.
It's cool. I like it a lot. I really hate his wife in the show, which I hear
Yeah,
is like
I
a
hated it.
continuous thing.
Yeah, I hated her. In the few episodes that I saw her, I was like, I do not like this bitch. Like,
Yeah.
she's the worst character I've ever seen in a TV show.
And like literally, you can't use any other word except for bitch or cunt. Like you have to call her that. That's
Like,
the problem.
she gives you no other like ground. Like, she's just a terrible person.
And like she's not even like it's not like she's a terrible person. You know, she's doing the right thing for her family, generally speaking. But she's just a uptight, annoying character, which I give props to that actress because she pulled that off very well.
It was very convincing.
I did that. So I watched that first 3.5 seasons.
Okay.
And then I moved on. The same day we were hanging out before we went back to college, Zach.
Right.
We were at Best Buy. I picked up the movie Frank.
Yeah, you did.
I picked up Frank, which is a Michael Fassbender, like comedy indie, art house film about a guy in a band.
Right.
It was definitely okay.
It was okay.
It was definitely okay. It wasn't anything.
Okay.
I don't think it was some masterpiece.
Yeah.
People might think it is, it's definitely gonna become a cult classic, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those.
It's gonna be one of those movies I can tell totally. It's gonna be a cult movie, which is perfectly fine. I totally get it.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily my type of movie. It was very artsy, kind of. It was almost like 500 Days of Summer.
Oh, okay.
Similarly, it's not romance. A romance.
Yeah. But
So
that
was,
kind of weird comedy-ish stuff.
Yeah, I know. It was like there's like a bunch of like social media uses in the movie, like the characters that use social media. And I'm like, I don't need this type of meta crap. It was fun. Michael Fassbender was great in it, as he always is.
Yeah, I enjoy him a lot.
He's always great, and the songs in the movie were good songs.
Yeah.
They're just really like indie type of
Right.
songs. Oh, a sip of water. Excuse me.
Right.
And then next, a few days later, I went. Cause I buy a lot of Blu-rays, as you know.
Yeah.
I finally got to watch The Protector 2.
Okay.
Which is the sequel to Tony Jaa's like 2005, great movie. The Protector 1 is so good. It was his first movie or second movie after Ong Bak 1, which is was good, but it was like kind of like okay. The Protector was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This guy is good.
Yeah.
Every hit, every fight scene was so well choreographed. And like all the fights were brutal and intense, and these people are doing their own stunts. It's so good. Yeah. And The Protector 2 is everything that isn't.
Yeah.
Protector 2 is such garbage.
It's bad.
It's like, okay. All right, guys, sorry about that. We are having mic difficulties on my end. But we
technical difficulties. But
we switch mics. Hopefully it'll be good. That if you hear a cut in the audio, that is why, because we're changing microphones and fixing the audio problem. But I was getting very hyped
about The Protector.
And I'll explain why. Because The Protector 2 is so uninspired, man. It's so the garbage. Magic that the first one has, this one has absolutely zero.
None of it. And Tony Jaa is one of my favorites too. I really enjoy him.
Tony Jaa is so amazing, dude.
Yeah.
And like you have this movie, dude, The Protector 2, and like you want it to be great, and like you're going into it thinking it's gonna be amazing because it's The Protector 2. It's the sequel to The Protector.
Right.
But it has CG in it. Whereas the first one, like
CG in a martial arts movie?
What made Tony Jaa was him not having CG. His people did their own stunts. In Ong Bak, they climbed that tree and they fell down the tree because they were great stuntmen.
Right.
Protector 2 has a scene where he has like it's like a 25-minute motorcycle fight where he fights a motorcycle gang, like hundreds of people on motorcycles. It's so bad. And there's a scene where they go through like a roof and like he's like punches a guy in the face and it looks like crap. And then RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan is in it. First off, I love martial arts movies, and I love martial arts movies, man. I am tired of RZA being in martial arts movies. He was in that movie, The Man with the Iron Fist with Russell Crowe.
Yeah, the one that Quentin Tarantino produced?
Yeah, that was him. Get out of my martial arts movies, man. It was so bad. So bad. And it ends, spoiler, the movie ends with they put bombs, right, on his elephant, like in the tusks.
Wait, there's an elephant?
Well, the protector's about his elephant,
Oh, okay.
and like
Okay.
it's like his family or whatever. And
Right.
then he like, dude, he like puts the sorry, they put bombs on the elephant's tusks, and then like Rizzo like pulls them off, and then he explodes. That's how the movie ends. He explodes.
Oh my
That
God.
doesn't even get to the part of the movie where like the big fight of the movie is Tony Jaa versus other black actors black martial arts actor. I forgot his name. It's like what's his name? He's not really big, but he totally needs to be because he's a really
I think I know who you're talking. Is he the one from? Oh my God, what was it? It's like the prison martial arts movie where he ends up in prison and then he gets out and he like goes under these like underground like martial art fight rings. I think I know who you're talking about. Like I've seen a fight with him in it where it's like him versus like some rich dude and they're like in some square somewhere and they face off. I can't remember what it's called.
I don't remember his name exactly. I forgot his name, but you can see it on like the Wikipedia page or whatever.
Right.
It was such he's a great martial artist. The fight scenes between him and Tony Jaa were really kind of cool. Like they were cool, except for the one of the last fight scenes because there's like 3 of them. They fight like 4 times in the movie.
Yeah.
They fight on a railroad track that's currently being like the electricity is going through it.
Okay.
So they wet their feet and they stay on the railroad track, and then they fight with lightning kicks,
Oh.
like electricity kicks, right?
No.
Which is bad. But the worst part about it, Zach, I'm not even done yet. The worst part about that fight scene, besides lightning kicks, was that every time they kicked with electricity, it made a Star Wars lightsaber sound. It made
You're
a
gotta be
lightsaber
shitting me.
sound.
A lightsaber sound on your feet?
Like it was dead on. I was like watching, like this is a fucking lightsaber. Like, it was a lightsaber. It was like when they move the lightsaber when they fight, and when they hit each other, it was like boosh, boosh, boosh. Oh,
Right.
Such a garbage movie.
I think I found the guy who you're talking about.
Okay.
Is it Michael Jai White?
No, Michael J. White is great,
Oh, okay.
but not the same guy.
Okay,
Michael
I thought
J.
that's who you're talking
Michael
about.
J. White is a great actor.
That's the movie. Yeah.
He was in Black
Nice.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
He's great. No, but Texas 2 it is such a bad movie, man. A bad sequel. Like I've seen one-off American-made martial arts movies better than this. This movie was
Right.
And it was Tony Jaa, man. I
It should have been.
hope for this guy. And like that I should have known after Ong Bak 2 and 3.
Yeah. I'll give you Ong Bak 3. I kind of enjoyed Ong Bak 2. It wasn't a terrible movie, but like
Sure.
the third one was awful.
Yeah.
The third one was garbage.
In that same day, Zach, the same day I watched this horrible piece of film history that will be looked down upon forever. The same day I watched, like right after I finished it, I was like, I need to wipe this taste out of my mouth with some good martial arts. So I watched The Raid 2 finally.
Oh,
And I
still have not seen that.
Dude, The Raid 2 is so good.
It's good?
Like everything I said about The Protector 2, The Raid 2 is like everything it's not. It's so well choreographed. It's well okay. Here's the thing. The first Raid 2, the director is not a martial artist. He's a choreographer, Gareth Evans. He's a Welsh director. He wrote it and everything. He writes these movies like they're actually they're crime movies.
Okay.
But instead of having like gangster guns, which they do have in these movies, the martial arts is like the main way of fighting. So it's like you have like think of like a Casino or Goodfellas level of plot line, right?
Okay.
You have a Scorsese movie of plot, but it's a martial arts movie.
That sounds awesome.
That's the Raid, man. That's the Raid 2, Like you have all these great. Every fight is so good. And when I was mentioning before about Tony Jaa, how every hit and every fight scene is real looking and hits hard.
Yeah.
This movie does. Every hit, you see it. They shoot it and they film it like you're supposed to shoot a movie where you see the fights. Everyone in the movie who is fighting can fight. So you have none of these quick American bullshit shots of like all these motion tracking and all the motion blurs. The lead actor who's a martial artist, you don't expect him to be a good actor because it's a martial arts movie, you know?
Yeah.
He's fucking awesome.
He's a good actor?
And not only is he great, but everyone around him, every other cast member, they didn't just go, we're making martial arts movies, go get some random guy in Malaysia or whatever. They found, like, actors who could act, you know?
Right.
And that was such a good thing to have because this movie was so top-notch. And I think if I watched this movie, you know, in 2014, it would have been my number one for sure.
You were number one for sure?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, Nightcrawler, but this movie was like, yo, this movie hit everything that I love about martial arts movies, which is at the core of everything is why I like movies. I mean, what got me into movies was martial arts movies, and this movie was like the best martial arts movie I've seen in, probably my entire life.
Damn.
You know, I mean, Police Story is not a martial arts movie per se, but this movie is amazing. Right. And, you know, so good. So, and it has like a Quentin Tarantino-esque, like, there's like Hammer Girl and like baseball, whatever is it, baseball kid or whatever. Like, he's like kind of like weird, like, you know, Kill Bill almost type of assassins in the movie. Right. Who like just do some crazy shit. Like, it's so, it was so good, man. The Raid 2, if you haven't seen The Raid or The Raid 2, I went out, I watched it. I was like, dude, I need to have these for my collection. So I went and bought them the same day. Yeah. It was so good, dude.
I really need to watch those because I really do enjoy martial arts movies. And those are two that I've heard really good stuff about and I have yet to see. I haven't watched martial arts movies in a long time.
Have you seen The Raid, the first one?
No, I haven't seen either of them.
Oh my god. You need The Raid and The Raid 2, they're very similar in like action, like how because it's the same crew. Right. But The Raid 2 is a much more intense story. The Raid 1's a good story, but it's kind of still like okay, we're just gonna fight here, and it's like basic plot line. Yeah. The Raid 2 is like plot. No, wow. Right, and like the shots, man. There's a scene. I'm not sure if you've seen it on Tumblr or not, but there's a behind the scenes way of how they shot this big car scene in The Raid 2, where they had a car and like 5 different like people in the car to pass the camera through the car. There's a guy like. There's like the car, right? And next to the door is like a little platform. He's laying on the platform, like almost on the ground while they're driving, to get like a low shot. And they pass it through the car to get the next shot. Like, dude,
what?
So good. That's so crazy. Amazing. I can't describe how amazing this movie is. And the soundtrack is so good. I'm not sure if Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park also did this movie. He did the first one, right? But either way, so good. And before I move on to my next thing, because I have a lot, like I said, there's the final fight scene between the main character Rama, or this movie Yuta. Okay. When he fights Hammer Girl and Baseball Boy, or they're called like Hammer Girl and like Wikipedia. They weren't given names. Right. That fight, they fight a hallway, and like you see like these characters, like you see like separate fight scenes between Hammer Girl, because Hammer Girl and Baseball Kid are like on the same team. They're both assassins, right? Like they're friends. Right. And you see Hammer Girl like go on a train, like assassinate like a bunch of dudes by herself, like no big deal, because she carries 2 hammers and she just demolishes everybody. And then Baseball Kid carries a baseball bat and a baseball. And he just like murders all these people, right? And they both fight the main character Rama. And he's like, you think, oh no, it's gonna be a tough fight. Yo, no, it's not a tough fight. Rama fucking destroys these dudes.
He destroys them?
Like, I want to give you a little spoiler, because, you know, whatever, I'm sorry, you watch it, you're gonna love it regardless. Yeah. He tears out Hammer Girl's throat with her own hammer. What? Right? And then he knocks down Baseball Kid on the floor, and he bats his face in with the bat, and the bat stays in his head, and while he's walking away, the bat falls out of his head. So good, because this movie's brutal. So this movie's very brutal. Don't get me wrong. It's very brutal.
Well, I mean, that's what I feel like a martial arts movie should be. Like a real gritty one should be brutal as hell.
Yeah, totally.
Martial arts are not pretty.
And the thing about this movie, The Raid, the main actor Iko Uwais, or Uwais, whatever his name is, I can't pronounce it properly. Iko. His first movie called Moranto came out probably 2009, maybe 2010. Okay. That's when I knew this guy's gonna be big. This guy is gonna be Tony Jaa, because Tony Jaa to me was the next big star of martial arts, and then he went downhill on Bak 2, which is my opinion, and everything he's made now since then. Yeah. Excuse me, but this guy Iko Uwais, or whatever his name is pronunciation wise, this is the path that Tony Jaa should have taken. He stole the spotlight, because They're making a rated 3.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Iko Uwais and a couple of his actors, his stuntmen, are going to be in the new Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah, I got excited for that because I know, even though I haven't seen the movie, like I know that it's really, really good. And a lot of people have said really, really good things about it for like the choreographing and the fight scenes.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're going to be in there and they're going to be like in the fight scenes, I was like, yes.
So that's I love that. That movie's amazing. I absolutely adored it. Next thing that I watched.
Okay.
I watched a lot of stuff, Zach.
Yeah.
I watched a movie called Horns.
Oh, the Daniel Radcliffe movie.
Yeah. Based on the book by Joe Hill, who is the author of Lock and Key,
Okay.
the comic book. He's also the son of Stephen King.
I did not know that.
Yeah, the movie was very bland. It was like okay movie. It definitely had some disturbing parts in it. Like a pretty disturbing rape scene in it. With the lead actress from Killer Joe, actually.
Oh, okay.
And some other guy who I've never seen before. But it was definitely okay. Wasn't some amazing movie. I saw some guy review it and said it was like, Dan Radcliffe did an amazing performance. I'm like, no, he didn't. Because his accent is all over the place in the movie. But it's a fun movie to an extent, minus the rape scene. It's very supposed to be a dark movie. It's a very like a supernatural movie about a guy whose girlfriend gets raped and murdered, and they pin the blame on him. And then he gets these horns that makes people
tell the truth or something.
Tell like their inner desire or whatever, the innermost feelings.
Right.
And like it's really kind of like supposed to be like a it's gritty anti-hero movie, which it totally wasn't, but whatever. I'll go fast. And then yesterday I watched Collateral again, which is the Michael Mann movie of Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise.
Yeah, that's okay.
Where Tom Cruise plays a hitman and Jamie Foxx is his hostage. He's a taxi driver.
Right.
He's driving around the city, Los Angeles, to his hits. I thought the movie, to me, I forgot how good it was because the movie is really, really good.
It's good.
I love that movie. Is awesome. That movie was bad because I watched it. I was like, oh, this movie's whatever.
Yeah.
And I always thought it was kind of boring, but dude, no way. That movie was really, really good. And then moving on with what I watched, Book of Eli. I've never seen it before. Never seen it before.
You know, I like Denzel. I like Denzel a lot.
Sure.
I like Gary Oldman a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
That movie was all right.
yeah, pretty much my thoughts.
It wasn't a bad movie, but it wasn't a fantastic movie. I mean,
yeah.
Denzel Washington and Gary Oldman, the kind of chemistry that they have, it was interesting to see. Gary Oldman was playing a bad guy. I love when Gary Oldman plays bad guys.
Yeah.
I think he's doing some of his best stuff when he's trying to be some sort of big bad douchebag asshole kind of person.
yeah.
Which is it's basically his whole character in the Book of Eli.
Yeah.
And Agreed. Denzel Washington's being Denzel Washington.
He's being a blind badass.
Okay,
It was definitely an okay movie. It definitely was like, hey, dude, it was made by the Hughes brothers, I believe, who directed it.
Right.
Yo, you jacked George Miller's Mad Max 100%.
Yeah.
Like that whole vibe of it is like, that's totally Mad Max. Which I get. It's like kind of hard not to rip off that off. The action was whatever. Gary Oldman was great, like for the character. Denzel Washington was playing Denzel Washington. And then Mila Kunis was like, oh, okay, you're okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, very forgettable performance. And that movie ends with her like taking up the mantle of like becoming the Traveler.
I did not like that ending at all.
Which is kind of like, when were you trained?
Yeah, it's like she has no reason to like take up this mantle. Like she wasn't good in a fight at all. She didn't even fight at all.
She didn't even believe in God. Like,
yeah.
The whole point of Eli was like he believed in God. God was telling him to travel.
Right.
That's how he got good at fighting because God gave him the will. To the flow through him or whatever to do his mission.
Yeah.
You didn't even know how to pray until he prayed before dinner.
Yeah. It was
to me a very okay movie. Forgettable, and honestly.
It was all right. I probably won't watch it again. Yeah, I haven't seen it since it
came out
like 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. My dad got it on Blu-ray. My parents and my brother really enjoy it.
I think most people really enjoy it, honestly.
I mean, most people that are like really digging deep into movies enjoy it. I mean, it's Denzel Washington and Gary Oldman, so I mean, they put on an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of bland for me. But
I completely agree. But speaking, my last thing that I watched before we get into news, I promise, the last thing that I watched, speaking of deep and complex movies, was Inherent Vice.
I want to see that movie so bad. It
Paul
looks
Thomas
so
Anderson's
good.
new movie. Paul Thomas Anderson, PTA, Boogie Nights, There Will Be Blood, Magnolia, The Master, known for making very deep and complex movies.
Right.
And this movie, Inherent Vice, which is based on the book of the same title by Pynchon, who's also a very deep and very complex writer.
Right.
You combine those two, and you're going to get a very deep and complex movie with multiple layers. And this movie was 2.5 hours long, and one view of it is nowhere near enough of it to really understand what's going on.
Right.
Like most PTA movies in the past few years, There Will Be Blood, The Master, the first viewing is like kind of like just prepping you so you can watch it. Like you saw because the second view is actually like the real watch of it.
Right.
The first view is like just kind of like getting it in your head. The second viewing is like actually like paying attention to the movie and kind of getting what's going on.
Right.
And and Inherent Vice was the same way. Inherent Vice it's such a good immersive movie. The entire movie I'm like sitting there like, oh man, thought I would get bored because it's a long movie.
Right.
Zach, you've been to movies with me before. I get very restless in movies. I kind of bounce around a lot.
I agree
was
with that.
so still in this movie. I was like, this movie is great. I'm loving everything about it. It was funny because it's a comedy. It's a funny noir, gritty 70s stoner movie with like a really good plotline. And the plotline leads you one direction. You're thinking like, oh man, this is going on, but nope, it's not where it's going. It's going over here. And and the cast, man, the cast is so good. This movie has Joaquin Phoenix,
right?
Josh Brolin,
I love him.
Reese Witherspoon,
Oof.
Owen Wilson, Benicio del Toro, Martin Short, and Catherine Waterston. Dude, this cast is insane.
Yeah,
right.
That's all-star.
Josh Brolin is amazing.
I love
Joaquin
Brolin.
Phoenix is amazing.
Yeah.
Reese Witherspoon was great in it. I even like Owen Wilson, and I hate Owen Wilson.
Yeah, I was about to say you hate Owen Wilson with a passion. So.
Yeah, and it was good. It was very sexy. It's a sex movie. There's a lot of sex in it. A lot of sexy stuff. There's a scene where they go to like he's investigating the disappearance of his ex-girlfriend, who he's really in love with, which is a big theme of the movie. Is like love of this girl he can't let go of.
Right.
And he goes to like this place called like the chick something. The chick, I forgot what it's called, like the chick palace or whatever. It's basically like a whorehouse type of place.
What?
And they use the word pussy like 17 times. It's like it was such a comedy and so good. And Joaquin Phoenix, who to me is very known to be, I think most people look at Joaquin Phoenix and kind of look at him like spectacle, like, oh, he's kind of like a overrated actor, but he's in pretty much almost every PTA movie, and he is amazing in this movie. He was so good.
Yeah, I enjoy Joaquin Phoenix a lot. I actually don't remember seeing him all that much, except for like Signs in The Gladiator.
Walk the Line.
And Walk the Line.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was amazing he's been amazing in every movie that I've seen him in.
He's great, man.
And that movie just looks so awesome. It looked exactly like the kind of movie like I want to see. Like it's kind of like, it looked like kind of a murder mystery. Is it around?
It's not really. It's not really a murder mystery. It's a mystery story because he's looking for. He's trying to figure out what's going on with this like kind of like a shady deal. And his ex-girlfriend goes missing. He's trying to find out where she went. And it's a really good movie. Really good detective story, noir-y comedy, stoner movie. Definitely have to watch it twice though. Definitely. Yeah.
It definitely looked like a kind of movie that I was very interested in seeing. I really like mystery stories and stuff like that. So, and it looked like it kind of had like a 70s kind of like.
Well, it takes place in 1970.
Yeah. So the poster that I saw and the trailer that I saw was very like 70s like neon kind of vibe to it. So.
Well, it takes place right after Manson does his murders and stuff. So it's that's the culture. And the book focuses on a lot of like, the 60s, and it takes place in 1970, but the book's about like, people coping with what just happened in the 60s, whatever. It's a really, really good movie. Really loved it. Yeah. All the shots were great. It's PTA doing his great thing. All the shots were amazing. Shot very well. Color was great. Good movie. Check it out for sure. If you're an intellectual film person,
right.
if you aren't into those kind of movies, if you aren't into like The Master or There Will Be Blood or movies along those lines, you won't like this movie. But if you like this kind of stuff, check it out.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
All right, Zach. Moving into our news segment of the show. Yeah, I watched a lot. I apologize.
I mean, I watched a lot too.
But finally getting into the news portion.
You can go ahead and take point on this.
Okay, I'll take point.
I talked a lot, so
I'll talk about one of the things that I'm probably most excited about. Mm-hmm. I have to debate now. Okay, I've decided. The new Batman vs Superman movie has a trailer coming out in the next month. Yeah. It's supposed to be attached to Jupiter Ascending.
I heard.
Gives me another reason to go see that movie because I already wanted to see it. Because Mila Kunis and Channing Tatum, and you know me, I've talked about Channing Tatum before. I think he's grown so much as an actor in these past few years.
Well, you know me, I love Mila Kunis, so I'm saying. Yeah. Well, I love the Wachowskis. I love the Wachowskis. And so.
The Wachowskis do really good stuff. So I'm excited to see that movie. And now that the Batman vs Superman trailer is going to be attached to it, done deal. I'm going to go see it.
Do you think we'll see anything actually like in that trailer, though?
I honestly don't even know if we're going to see Ben Affleck in a Batman suit.
I don't really know if we're even going to see anything. I mean, I guess they could show us the Batsuit because they technically already have. They've shown pictures and everything like that.
And
the
Batmobile and stuff.
Yeah, and the Batmobile. So if they don't kind of show us that, like actually in motion, I'd be kind of disappointed in them.
Agreed.
Because it's like you've already shown that kind of stuff. So it's like, Snyder, just give us like actual motion. Like you've already given us pictures. Like stop teasing us already.
Yeah.
You already set it back a whole year. So don't play with my emotions anymore. But I don't know. I don't even know. I kind of want to see. I want to see at least the kind of showdown that, because I mean it's Batman versus Superman. So if they don't at least show them facing off a little bit, I don't know what else to expect. Because
I think
at least if they show the villain,
who's the villain?
See, that's what I don't know. I don't know who the villain is. Lex Luthor's supposed to be in it, but they haven't actually talked about whether he's going to be a villain or not. Because he wasn't in Man of Steel at all.
Oh, it's Jesse Eisenberg's play.
Yeah, it's Jesse Eisenberg.
Lex Luthor, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if he's going to be a bad guy or if it's going to do the whole Smallville thing. Will he be like a friend at first? I don't know. I guess we'll see how they kind of do it. Hopefully they show us the kind of route they're going to take with him in this trailer. But I mean, I can't lay out a whole list of things because it's only going to be probably like 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
But,
and that most of that will be like some slow logo. Like
I'm expecting like bass drops or something like that, some Inception type stuff, and like really quick cuts.
Pretty much, I think I agree. I'm not expecting too much out of it. I'm expecting to see like a cape, and like a logo, Superman logo on the cape, and like flying through it like Gotham City or whatever, and then like that's what I'm expecting. I'm not expecting anything.
I'd be excited for a Batarang to see that cape and like see a Batarang going after it or something like that. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be kind of cool. I don't think we're gonna see any action though.
Yeah, I don't think we will either. Well, they'll probably save that for next year.
Yeah, closer to release.
Yeah.
Which sucks, but that's what we're probably gonna get, honestly.
Yeah.
For me, my first bit of news that I thought was good is that Scarlett Johansson is set to star as Motoko Kusanagi in the Ghost in the Shell live action movie, which is I am so down.
I am down for this.
If you want to see more of my thoughts on this, check out my article I posted over on theextendededition.com. People are getting mad because it's they're whitewashing a character, they're making this Japanese character white. I don't care because it's an American-made movie. For American audiences.
It's not a Japanese movie. Like this is an American movie, and that's. I mean, I'm sorry to burst people's bubbles, but that's what we do. Yeah. We whitewash because people aren't gonna go see some unknown Japanese actress. They want somebody that they're gonna know. And Scarlett Johansson, especially within like these last few years, is like one of the most well-known female actresses, especially in the action genre. So
completely agree. And I mean, they offered her. Well, not offered. They're giving her $10 million for the role or whatever.
Oh wow!
So I'm very excited for this movie. I'm very excited for. What even if it's bad, which it totally might be, because it's being directed by Rupert Sanders, who is the director of Snow White and the Huntsman.
Oh boy!
So I don't know why they gave this motherfucker the rights to direct this masterpiece of a series.
Yeah, but whatever. That Snow White and the Huntsman was not a very good movie at all.
That's what I hear. I didn't watch it because this guy who directed that movie only has like 2 directorials. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Why give him this huge franchise? I don't know.
I don't know. Hollywood has this thing nowadays where they're trying to give like unknown actors who don't have a lot like big movies to try to like get them recognition, I guess. But
I guess. I mean, whatever. I'll watch it regardless because it's Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell is fantastic.
And if you can't, and this movie sucks, I can just go back and watch the anime.
yeah, I was about to say because the animated movie is great. So
Exactly.
even if the live action sucks, you always have the animated to look back on.
Exactly. Zach, what you got for me? Next thing.
Next thing, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
He's had a busy year.
He has.
Apparently, he's going to have an even busier one in the next year or so, because apparently he's set to star in the new King Kong reboot.
Yeah. King Kong Skull Island, right?
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Something like that.
Apparently they want to make this like a multi-movie type of thing. Like they don't want to be a one and done. So I don't know how they're going to do that because
Well, that last King Kong that came out wasn't that great, you know?
No.
I mean, Jack
Not
Black.
one of Peter Jackson's finest moments.
Yeah, Jack Black,
Yeah.
Adrian Brody was not like the most amazing
no, he wasn't.
piece of cinema I've seen, you know?
Yeah, I mean it was 3 hours too long. Let's just say that. But
Yeah.
but I don't know. I mean, I guess if they like separated into like an island movie and then a city movie, I guess, but I still can't see it going further than like 2 movies unless they plan on spending like a lot of time on the island.
Yeah.
Because once they get to the city, like the story's pretty boring until he actually like escapes and does this whole thing, but that takes like 30 minutes to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'll see it. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't watched the King Kong reboot, whatever you want to call it, and since it came out.
right.
But I remember it was bad, and
Yeah.
this new one, I'm not sure if it's a reboot of the franchise or if it's supposed to be a sequel to that. Or
They said they wanted it to be a reboot. Like, they want to wipe that whole last one off the map from Peter Jackson, and they want to do, like, a reboot, and they actually want to make, like a series out of it. But,
had they announced a
know.
director for it?
I haven't seen a director. I don't remember seeing one. So I just
Gotcha.
remember that Michael Keaton's the only
Name
actor that
attached.
he's the only the name I remember being attached. So
Okay. Well, I mean, it should be okay. I mean, Michael Keaton. People are all thinking Michael Keaton's like, you know, he's not a bad actor by any means. You know, he's great
Right.
at his job. And,
Yeah.
You know, and with Birdman, he can still act.
Yeah.
That was never in question. Now, what kind of character he's gonna play? I mean, he's an older guy. I'm not sure what he's gonna be doing.
Yeah.
You know, so
I mean, I guess he could kind of be like Jack Black's character in a way.
the director.
Yeah, like the director kind of guy. But I definitely couldn't see him being like Adrian Brody's character.
Yeah.
At
totally
all.
not. Totally not.
So, it also has Tom Hiddleston in it.
Oh God, never mind.
So he would probably be Adrian Brody's
I'm not
character.
watching this movie anymore.
No, you're not gonna watch it. You don't
No.
like Hiddleston?
Mm-mm. Well, he's not bad. He's not that bad.
Right.
He's not that bad.
Yeah. But it's,
Speaking of apes, I got some ape news. Planet of the
news?
Apes,
yeah.
the sequel to Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, has been announced for the release date, which is July 14th, 2017, which for me is too far away.
2017. They set it back
That's-
a whole year. Jesus.
Yeah, it's too far for me. I mean, even the gap between Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and or Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. What was the first one called again?
I think it was Rise and then Dawn.
Between Rise and Dawn,
Yeah.
that gap, even that gap was like 3 years or whatever, or
Right.
2.5 years. Too long for me. This gap is only like 2 years, 2.5 years, whatever.
Right.
Still too long for me. Like you can't have this great story and it's like, I mean, I get it. It's fine. They're gonna polish the script. They're gonna take time to get Andy Serkis out of Star Wars. I get it.
Right.
Just it's kind of hard. That was a really good franchise sequel. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes that made tons of money. I want to see what's happening next.
Yeah.
So
Yep. I
totally.
agree.
Ugh. Okay, my next piece of news, going back to my Ghostbusters.
Okay.
Melissa McCarthy,
Nope.
apparently, is set to star in it.
Now she's from
She's in,
Hairspray, right?
Well, she's in talks. No, she's actually in the. She's in the Heat with Sandra
that
Bullock.
movie sucked.
Yeah, I did not. I like Sandra Bullock in the movie. I don't like Melissa McCarthy. Oh, I don't like the humor that she brings to movies. She had that other movie come out like a few years ago or like last year called Tammy.
Oh yeah, that's her.
That's her.
Oh Jesus!
Didn't look good to me at
No
all.
way.
And
Oh, they're gonna combine Rebel Wilson and
Yeah.
Melissa McCarthy. What do
Yeah.
you, dude?
I'm
No.
not excited. If
No
she's gonna be
way.
in this movie, I'm 100% less excited for this movie.
Play it
if she's
safe. Play it safe.
They really should.
Tina Fey.
Tina Fey, Emma Stone. I would love to see.
Emma Stone. Who's the blonde girl? Amy.
The
blonde lady.
Poehler.
Amy Poehler.
And
Aubrey Plaza. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. Cast it. Whatever.
Yeah. Or my girl Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I get it.
But yeah. I mean, I'm not excited to see not Rebel Wilson. I'm not excited to see Rebel Wilson either, but Melissa McCarthy in this movie. I just don't want to see that at all.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's like I'm not excited for this thing in general. Like I think you just don't make it because Ghostbusters 2 is generally speaking people don't like it as much as one. They think it sucks. I like 2 honestly, but that's nostalgia reasons. Yeah. I don't think this should even happen.
Right. I don't. So I mean, I'm open to them doing reboots. Because if anything, I just go back to the originals and I can watch those if the new ones are garbage. But I don't know. They're taking so many different decisions with this movie that I can't agree with at all. I mean, they haven't officially cast Melissa McCarthy yet, but she's in talks. And if people are hearing about talks, then they're pretty close to signing her, I'm imagining. And I don't want to see her in this movie at all.
Yeah, I don't want to see it either. I completely agree.
Yeah.
My next piece of news, which is a big deal for me personally, is that 4K Blu-ray officially is now known as Ultra HD Blu-ray.
Okay.
But it will require a new player to play those higher res 4K Blu-rays.
Wow.
Which for me, who is a collector of physical media,
right.
It's a big deal, and the tech specs I don't know. I didn't read they're over my head tech spec wise.
Right.
But I need a new player for it when it comes out, when it becomes more available. New player, right. You're gonna need a 4K TV to play the 4K.
That's crazy.
And you're gonna need, but backwards compatible is what they've been saying, which is great because you can't just take away a regular Blu-ray.
Right.
But it's like really, as a collector myself, it's like, man, am I going to buy Back to the Future for the 4th time?
Yeah.
Like I already have it on VHS, I have it on DVD, I have it on Blu-ray. Am I going to buy it on Blu-ray, Ultra, whatever it's called?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of a bummer, but I get it. Whatever, you keep going. And I probably will buy Back to the Future for the 4th time.
Yeah, I mean, the way technology is just going, people just have to keep recycling and figuring out what to do with the new stuff that comes out. I mean, they're just getting to the point now where they're starting to rehash all these old VHS and DVD movies and finally starting to put them on Blu-ray, and now they're coming out with something else. So it's just, technology is just changing so fast.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah.
What you got for me?
Next thing I've got, in the world of Marvel, there's some big stuff happened this week. Ant-Man came out, the trailer.
Didn't watch it.
Yeah, I did. I did. And, well, there's 2 things. There's trailer, and then they also had a bunch of images to go along with the trailer.
Some dumb posters I saw.
I'm only going to talk about one image in particular, because it's the only image that I really care about. It is the image of this yellow jacket armor.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I feel about it. Mm-hmm. It's weird. He's got some weird spider Doc Ock arms coming out.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all. It looks really stupid. Doesn't look like he has any wings at all, so I don't know why they're calling him Yellow Jacket. Because that's the whole
yellow spider.
Yeah, yellow spider.
Yellow
dude,
widow.
Yes. Yeah. And then, but the trailer I liked in general. I thought it was really good. I like Paul Rudd was funny, but they went really serious, drama heavy wise with it, which I think is the opposite of what they should do, honestly. Because Ant-Man is one of those movies that should be a little more lighthearted because it's a guy who shrinks.
Okay. Check 1, check 2, check.
All right, I think we're good. That may be what it is because I was running it through a USB hub versus my computer.
Right.
Let's see what happens. I have no clue.
Okay.
But the audio sounds different though. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Got audio problems. Jesus.
Technical difficulties out the wazoo, but that's what's to be expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've used Skype, so.
Well, it works fine before, so it's what
the fuck? I know. I don't know what's up. Well, I know one thing that changed. Got a new computer, so maybe that's the.
No, but I think it's my end though. I think it's my end that you're in.
Okay.
So.
But what were we talking about? Ant-Man. Oh, I just felt like they should have been more humorous for the trailer, especially since Paul Rudd is a comedic actor.
Yeah.
And they didn't really let him like shine at all to like show him being funny, except for the whole when he was talking to Michael Douglas and he was like, "Is it too late to change the name?" That kind of little jab at it that they like to do in all these movies. But
they're little pokes and
they're
jokes.
little pokes at like kind of how weird some of these names are and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. I mean, I'm gonna go see it because I like Ant-Man. I like just comic book movies in general, so I always make it a point to see them all pretty quickly, except for Thor 2, because apparently that one's awful. So I still haven't seen that, but but I've seen all the other ones, and so I'll see this too eventually. I probably won't see it as soon as it comes out, unless
when's the release date? Summer, right?
Yeah, it's like July. I'm pretty sure, like late July.
We'll probably see it.
We'll probably go see it.
Chances are, if it's July and everyone's
there,
we'll probably see it.
Yeah, we'll probably go see it.
Speaking of Marvel news, Marvel's Daredevil Netflix series has a premiere date. April 10th.
I'm excited.
So I'm very excited as well. And thankfully, I already have Netflix.
Yeah, so. I still don't have Netflix, so I'm probably going to find another way to watch it, or I'll probably just finally bow down and buy Netflix.
Yo, Netflix is a good deal, man. It's a good deal.
How much is it again? I can't even remember.
It's like $10 a month or something like that.
Oh, see,
$12 a month.
I should probably just suck up and buy Netflix. But
I've had it for probably 6 years now.
Yeah.
So worth it. I mean,
it's worth it.
Breaking Bad's on there, Arrow's on there.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, they just take longer to get on there versus
Hulu
or something.
Yeah, Hulu.
Because Hulu has a deal to get like the day of type thing.
Yeah, they get it like the day after most of the time.
But Daredevil looks good. I mean, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
What you got for me?
What have I got? Next thing on my list. Let's see. Spectre. Has images. They're filming in the Austrian mountains, so it looks like we're gonna get another ski chase with Bond, which I'm kind of excited for because that was one of my favorite parts about one of the sequels. Because it wasn't in GoldenEye, because we've talked about this before, that GoldenEye was my favorite Brosnan James Bond. It was probably his only really good one.
Yeah.
But I think the one where he had the snow chase, it was the one right after GoldenEye. I think it was like Tomorrow Never Dies or whatever, but it was the one where the guy got like shot in the head and the woman owns a oil line or something like that, and that's when they brought the ski chase in. So I'm excited them to be in the mountains, and they had a picture of Daniel Craig, the new Bond girl, and Batista. I can't remember the new Bond girl's name, but they had all three of them together, like in the mountains and having fun. And I was like, yeah, I'm down to see more Ice Bond. So
yeah, totally agree. For me though, some news: Bourne 5. Is not going to have Damon and Renner, which sucks because that would be great to see.
I want to see that.
That's going to be in theaters July 29th, 2016.
Is that going to be... Because I know they're actually working on simultaneous sequels because they're doing a Jason Bourne one and they're doing an Aaron Cross one. So which one's coming out?
The Jason Bourne one.
The Jason Bourne one's coming out 2016?
Bourne's coming first,
and then the Aaron Cross
is coming out later.
And that has, Justin Lin directing.
And this Bourne 5 is going to be directed by Greengrass, who directed Supremacy and Ultimatum. Right. And written by him, Damon, and, the usual people.
Yeah.
So, that's cool. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I was excited to see that. It looked really... I was kind of sad that it wasn't going to be a crossover because I was really, really wanting to see that. I think we talked about that before on the show that we really wanted to see a crossover with them. And they didn't say it was out of the works. They just said it wasn't going to be anytime soon. So hopefully after these next two movies, they might finally decide that, okay, this is profitable and we'd be even more better if we could cross them over. So
it would just be hard to figure out a cool storyline between those two characters and those two actors. Because for me personally, I want to see Bourne. I don't really care about Aaron Cross. But having them intersect... would be really cool to see.
Yeah.
So,
I totally agree.
What you got for me?
Next thing I've got on my list is Viola Davis, set to play Amanda Waller in the Suicide Squad movie.
Okay.
And apparently, she's also, if she does, I don't think she's actually officially signed on yet, and that's because if she does sign on, apparently they're gonna have to put her in multiple. They're putting her not just in Suicide Squad. They're gonna put her in a bunch of movies, which they should, because Amanda Waller is like this overarching kind of character that like gets into every person's storyline at some point. So it totally makes sense that she'd have to be in multiple movies. But I'm excited to see her. I don't know too much about her. I know that she's on this new TV show that everybody's like praising her for. It's like some How to Get Away with Murder or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of people have been talking about that. They're saying that she does a really good job on that show. But I remember seeing her in some other movies. I can't remember specifically what, but I've seen her before and I enjoy her. I think she's a really good actress, and I'm excited to see what she does for Amanda Waller. So.
Sure. My next piece of news is that it's actually the fact that in 2014. It's been the lowest recorded like people going to the movie theater in 20 years. So people aren't going to movies. They're saying that that's because of movies that are sequels that just aren't promising enough, that they have like Amazing Spider-Man 2,
right,
and stuff like that. And Transformers and Mockingjay Part 1 that aren't necessarily bringing in the audiences that they thought they would be.
Right.
I get it, man. The box off, the blockbusters aren't really great. We have stuff like Taken 3, just crap movies that aren't being good. So it's really the indie market and really the art house films that are really creative and making stuff good. Yeah. Which sucks to say because blockbusters are great to me. Yeah. But and besides the Marvel movies, obviously, are always making money. Yeah. That's different. But generally speaking, just people aren't going.
Yeah, people really just aren't. Yeah, they're not anymore. That's one of the things I noticed, especially not just this year, but like a few years ago. Like me and my brother would go to see movies sometimes in the movie theater, and it would be like in the middle of the day or like late in the afternoon or something like that. And we'd go to a movie, and we'd be the only people in the movie theater. And I'm like, I don't know how movie theaters are going to survive at this point, because they're just not getting the type of people that are going to keep them thriving.
Sure. I mean, even yesterday when I saw Inherent Vice, which granted speaking, Inherent Vice is not necessarily the most, well-known movie. Everyone's going to go see this movie, but even then, it was like, I mean, granted, it's also 11:45 in the morning. It was like 5 people who are obviously dedicated fans of this genre or the director. But even when we see big movies, I don't really see, unless it's a kid's film, then I see more people. But generally speaking, I don't really see, compared to 5 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, you really just don't anymore. You just don't see a lot of people showing up.
So, for sure. Got any more news, Zach?
I have one last thing, and that is a new trailer that came out. It is a trailer for a movie called The Voices with Ryan Reynolds. Oh. It is a dark comedy. Oh. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I like Ryan Reynolds. I like him a lot, especially after I saw The Proposal. I loved him in the movie. Yeah. Oh, well,
after you saw Green Lantern?
We don't have to talk about the Green Lantern. I erased that movie from my mind. What's the Green Lantern movie? I don't know what you're talking about.
They need to make one.
They apparently they are. They're making one, but it's like a long ways away. Yeah. But yeah, he's coming back for it too now. But it's like a dark comedy. Basically, the whole premise is he can talk to his pets. He has a dog and a cat. And the cat convinces him somehow to be a serial killer. Yeah. And he has a head in his fridge that talks to him. So, it's a creepy kind of like indie murder horror neo-noir type of thing going on. And it kind of reminded me of like a less stellar version of Jake Gyllenhaal's creepy Blue guy from Nightcrawler. That was another movie that I saw a few weeks ago that I forgot to mention. Mm-hmm. I did end up seeing Nightcrawler, but it kind of felt like that performance to me of like Ryan Reynolds just being like this super creepy motherfucker, and it's something that I haven't really seen him do before, because he's mostly just known for being like a comedic actor and like a goofball and stuff like that, and to see him in this kind of weird like comedic role, but it's still like, because he's a serial killer. Like he kills like young girls. Like in the trailer, it was like he went on I don't know exactly how it happened, but I think he was on a date or a girl or something like that. And I don't know how the cat was talking to him, but he ended up chasing this girl through like the woods and stabbing her. And it looks really interesting. I'm really excited to see it after seeing that trailer. So
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Next piece of news for me is that Minority Report sequel series pilot ordered by Fox.
Okay.
So it's going to take place 10 years later, starring a female detective, and she and one of the 3 precogs are like, they meet each other and they try to, figure out how to use the gift of the precog to do something. They're going to solve mysteries and they're going to solve murders before they happen. But you can't get Tom Cruise back, apparently, and Steven Spielberg's not going to direct it. So I don't care, but it's a piece of news that I'll check it out, I guess, honestly, because it's Minority Report's great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fantastic movie.
And I'll move quickly on the news. My next piece of news, Star Wars spinoff loses its writer, who is Gary Whitta, who, speaking of Gary Whitta, earlier we mentioned a movie that he wrote the screenplay for, which is Book of Eli.
Oh, he wrote that movie?
He wrote Book of Eli, which is why I'm when they announced him attached to, because they announced, this is what they did. They announced Gareth Edwards to direct it, who made Godzilla, and they attached Gary Whitta, who did Book of Eli, and I'm like, both these movies are crap. Generally speaking, to be honest, they're Godzilla I hated. Book of Eli, like we mentioned before, was totally okay. Yeah. So we have okay writing and a bad director, in my opinion. Gonna be a bad sequel, a spinoff.
Yeah. But Gareth Edwards is still attached to direct.
Gareth Edwards is still directing it. They just lost the Gary Whitta, the writer.
Right.
My last piece of news before we get into stuff finally. Is that after all our technical difficulties, is that Steven Soderbergh, who's a director who directed stuff like Kafka, the Ocean's Trilogy, Magic Mike, Haywire, Contagion, and the TV show The Nick with Clive Owen. Great director.
I haven't seen that.
It's really
it's a good show.
Cool show about doctors and like the early when medicine first got real popular. It's kind of cool. They just this past past week, he released his list of everything he watched, read, and consumed list. He does like every year. He releases a list of everything. He's like plays or movies or books or TV shows. He releases a list. And Zach, I decided that it's a good idea, so I invite you to make a list. To make like a Google document list, because Google Documents free. A spreadsheet, and I started my spreadsheet. And since the first of the year to now, I have watched like 14 movies. Already. I watched like 5 yesterday. You know what I mean? It's really cool. I think it's a really fun idea. But on Soderbergh's list, he has a date. And he like bolds it for like, if it's a movie or it caps it as a TV show. I'm adding a rating to it. So I have the date I watched it, the movie, and it's a TV show, whatever caps or bold, and a couple columns over I have a rating out of 10 for it. I think it's a cool thing to do. I would do it.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
I think it's pretty cool. It lets me know at the end of the year, it's kind of what I watched and how many things I watched.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of like a fun collection idea. Plus, I already want to catalog what I got and what I watch anyways. So. Yeah,
I do too. So yeah, I'm totally down for that. I'll probably start that tonight.
For sure.
But I got one question.
Sure, what's up?
That Minority Report movie. Yeah. They seem to be doing that a lot lately, because they did another TV show for a movie that came out a while ago, Fargo.
Yeah, they did.
And it did the same type of thing where it's set in the future and it's like different characters, but it's still set in that same type of universe. So I'm wondering if this is becoming the new trend for TV shows of, let's take old movies and set them in the same universe and use different people and all this other stuff.
Totally is. I mean, granted, Fargo is really good.
Yeah.
This Minority Report sounds like a CSI. You know what I mean?
Speaking of which, I saw a trailer for a new CSI TV show and I looked like a piece of garbage.
What?
Yeah, it's called CSI Cyber. It looks awful.
You're being serious.
I swear to God, I saw it on TV.
You're being serious.
I 100% crossed my heart. I'm serious. I saw CSI Cyber show up on a TV yesterday.
CSI Cyber.
Yep.
They do know
that looked awful.
They do know the term cyber used to mean like online sex, right? Like in the early 2000s. Like, why would you call your show that?
I have no idea. I think they're trying to make it like cyber crime.
Yeah,
it didn't look like cyber. Like it looked all like there was no. I don't remember seeing like computers or hacking or anything like that. Like it all looked real and physical, and I was like, this doesn't look cyber at all. Like
in a
I was
world
really confused.
Where Anonymous is hacking everybody and the Sony is getting hacked. We have to make a TV show that we can use our nerdy computer geeks to, and
Yeah.
they're all pretty boys and like super sexy women who are like
Yeah.
the best hackers or whatever. That sounds so stupid that I have to check it out.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it was just it looked awful. Oh, I have a cast list. The two people, the one person that I recognized, James Vanderbeek.
On CSI Cyber?
Yep,
Okay.
he's like the main detective dude,
Isn't he?
and I only remember him from.
Isn't he from Dawson's Creek?
Yeah, he is from Dawson's Creek, and the only other thing I remember him from besides Dawson's
Gosh.
Creek is he was in that recent. Was that even him? Oh, that might not even been him. It was the Lockout movie.
Oh,
I thought that was him, but that might actually not be
I don't
him.
think that's him. No,
No, I just looked at somebody who looks like him.
James
but,
Vanderbeek. In
yeah,
CSI.
James Vanderbeek is said to be like the main star in this upcoming movie, and I am
Jesus.
or not movie, TV show. It's just,
They
I saw that
they
and
need
I
to
literally-
stop CSI.
I don't know. I thought they did. That's why I was so surprised when I saw it. I was like, I thought they canceled all the CSIs.
I'm pretty sure CSI New York, Miami, all of them are still going. I think,
They're still going?
or at least I'm pretty sure at least the main one is still going. I could be wrong. I haven't watched CSI.
I have
in like
no idea. I haven't watched
8
CSI in
years.
so long. I used to watch it all the time in middle school, like CSI Miami, because it always came on A&E. I used to watch that like every day when I came home, because it was just what was on. But oh god, it's been so long since I watched it. I don't want to watch it anymore.
Yeah, just stop CSI. I mean,
Yeah,
shows-
they should have stopped. I don't know why they haven't stopped already.
that show, and then so is NCIS. Like, cancel both those shows.
I enjoy NCIS, but I haven't seen any of the new NCIS. Like I only watched the like USA stuff where they did like the old stuff up to like it wasn't what was it? I think they did up to like 2009 or 10 is like the last episodes that I saw.
Well, NCIS crap show, I think, and then NCIS LA with LL Cool J
no.
and Robin.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
God.
I didn't even try to watch LA. I was like, no, I don't want to see LL Cool J.
Yeah,
Try to be a detective.
It was bad. But that moves on to our next segment of the show, which
Yes.
is what is coming out this week. In theaters, January 9th, which is pretty much the whole list, which
Yeah.
is yesterday, this
Right.
stuff you guys know. Taken 3, which I've heard has gotten bad reviews.
Yeah.
Selma,
Okay.
Inherent Vice, Predestination, Let's
Right.
Kill Ward's Wife, and The World Made Straight. But on home release / Blu-ray, we
Okay.
got Boyhood, which is the movie that looks like I'm gonna hate it.
It didn't look good at all, but apparently a lot of people were like
it's-
singing praises
It's
for it.
an art house indie fanatic film because it was
Right.
shot over 12 years.
Oh wow.
They had the same people come back for like 12 years, whatever, to add
You
bits
kid-
and pieces for this thing.
Oh my
yeah,
god.
it's like and it costs like $28 on Blu-ray. I'm like, dude,
That sounds like the worst.
I bought Horns for $13. I'm not gonna spend $28 on this Boyhood movie.
Yeah.
Because the director and all those people are indie deers or whatever.
Yeah.
No Good Deed, Get On Up, Left Behind, The Guest, and Horns, which I mentioned,
Okay.
which I bought.
Right.
So that's what's out on Blu-ray and out in theaters this week.
Okay.
The only thing I think is worth watching, besides Inherent Vice, I hear Selma's good and I hear Predestination's okay. And Let's Kill Ward's Wife, I hear a lot of good things about.
I heard a lot of good things about that. Yeah. And I heard one of the DVDs you mentioned that was coming out was The Guest. And I heard a lot of good things about that.
Yeah,
I heard a lot of people say that movie was really, really good.
Yeah, I heard there's things too. I agree. Maybe I'll watch it, but it still costs like $20 bucks.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm not gonna pay $28 to see it. But
Yeah, I'll watch it on Netflix.
yeah.
But Zach, that is all the stuff I got.
Okay. Well, I guess it's time to move into our final segment of this episode.
Sure.
Our movie review and our movie of the week. As we've mentioned, I don't know, about 5 minutes ago, Fargo, and
Yeah.
multiple times throughout this episode.
Sure.
The Coen Brothers movie from 1996, which is directed by Joel and Ethan Coen, stars Frances McDormand, stars who else does it star in it?
William H. Macy.
Yeah, William H.
Steve
Macy.
Buscemi.
Yeah.
Peter Stormare, and then the movie was written, directed, edited, and by Joel and Ethan Coen.
Right.
Who are the people? If you don't know who the Coen Brothers are, which you probably do, if you don't know who they
should.
are, they made movies like Raising Arizona, Miller's Crossing, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, No
Thou.
Country for Old Men, True
Yeah.
Grit, and probably their most dear and beloved movie of all time is The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
So Fargo,
Fargo.
which is obviously a black comedy
Yep.
film, with the TV show you mentioned before,
Yes.
FX. Zach, tell me some of your thoughts on this movie.
When I originally came into this movie, I didn't know exactly what to expect. I knew it was dark comedy, and I knew it was a murder mystery. And as I mentioned before, I love murder mysteries. So that kind of whole, well, it's actually not a murder mystery. It's more just a like crime mystery type of thing.
Well, it's like a mystery on one person's end because we know that we follow like both the murderer
it's
and
kinda,
we follow the detective of it.
Yeah, it's weird to see like the multiple different like paths that you follow, because you follow Frances McDormand and her path as like the detective, and then you follow the path as the husband trying to figure out like he's some sort of money problems or something like that, and then you have the kidnappers and their whole plot line with kidnapping the wife and the problems they have with getting the money and getting away with all of this other stuff. So
Yeah. It's obviously it's considered a classic for a reason.
Yeah.
It is very black comedy for sure. But I love William H. Macy in this movie. It's probably my favorite thing he's done. He's in Shameless, I believe, which is that Showtime show. I haven't seen Shameless, but this movie, dude, William H. Macy, my favorite role he's ever done, and he kills it with the accent.
He really does.
With the accent and with the character that he plays, it's kind of like he's like a weird like pushover character who gets pushed around a lot, but at the same time he's like always trying to get his way, and he succeeds every now and then, but he still is like a pushover. It's weird, but his accent adds so much to the character of the husband.
Right.
And it makes me realize that this movie, it's very funny. A very funny movie.
Yeah, it's a hilarious movie.
Especially the opening scene of the movie of William H. Macy walking into the bar and meeting Steve Buscemi and the other guy. And it's like, I think he says something about how like, there's like, they're bickering back and forth. And it's just like the pacing of the words and the timing between Steve Buscemi's character, and the other guy. And then William H. Macy's like, oh, this is like a song, man. It's a sing song. It's very, very funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed William H. Macy's character. The accent kind of threw me off at first when I first heard it. Like, with William H. Macy and then Frances McDormand's character having, like, this really thick... Missouri... Or what, is it Missouri or something?
No, it's a North
Dakota.
Oh,
yeah. I was like,
Dakota.
wait. I was like, where are we? Wait, are we in America? Like, I was so confused.
No, it's North Dakota, something like that.
Yeah, something like
betcha.
that.
You betcha.
Yeah, you betcha. But,
a lot of that in the movie.
Yeah. A lot of oh god, when she was talking to those hookers every other way, I was like, oh my god.
I mean obviously that's played up for comedic purposes, but I think the accent alone is a character itself, because you're mentioning the hook when she's talking to like the two,
where she's interviewing the hookers,
the two hookers / whatever you want to call them, call girls, whatever, escorts, which is a great scene.
Yeah, great scene.
But my favorite scene in the movie is when it's a random cop is driving, and then he stops because some guy was like shoveling snow, and he called the cops to tell them something. It's a random conversation between this random cop and this random guy, and he runs through this whole story about Steve Buscemi's character, like, I was at the bar and he was drinking. He wants some action. What kind of action are you talking about? Well, I can't get the action here. Who do you think I am? You call me a jerk? I'm not a jerk. Last guy called me a jerk. He's dead. I'm not talking about old age. It's like all this stuff. It's like, what the fuck? It's so funny. He tells us such a long story, and he ends it with this.
Yeah.
My wife said I should call it in, so I called it in. End of story. Like he had like a 2-minute conversation.
He was like, I don't really feel like it's that important.
No, he has a 2-minute thing. Goes, that's it. Like it's like no big deal. End of story. Yeah. Like end the story is like a short. Like end of story is this. Someone called me. That was that. End of story. That's how. But he had a 2-minute thing. Yeah. And he said end of story.
Little monologue.
Like, that's not how that works.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my favorite scene in the movie, besides Steve Buscemi getting shot in the face.
Oh my god, that was
really funny.
Hilarious.
And, yeah. What was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene in the movie was probably...
There's a lot of good stuff in that movie. It was probably the moment where Frances was coming back from whatever place she was coming from. Well, it was the Twin Cities or whatever. So she was coming back from that, and she was driving back by Moose Lake, and she was talking to the guy, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna check it out." And all of a sudden, she sees the Sierra, and she's like, "That's my car, that's my car." And he was like, "What?" And then she hung up and was like, "I'm about to go get this."
And then she walks up, and you see,
and you see the wood chipper, and
you see Steve Buscemi's legs like in the wood chipper, and he looks at her like, "Oh." And he's still doing it, and then he like lets go, and like looks kind of weird, and he just runs off like it's a no big deal.
And it's just funny how it's like how kind of, I don't want to say clueless, because she's not clueless at all. Like she's really,
so
really
dumb, dude.
She's
a dumb character.
I mean,
just like dumb luck.
Yeah, I mean, kind of the only thing that throws it off for me is that beginning scene where she kind of goes through like everything that happened, and it's like, she knows what she's talking about, but she's too naive.
Sure,
is what I think, and brings up that scene where she meets that one guy from their high school, the weird Asian dude, with his dead wife.
That made me so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was
watching
such
that
an
scene.
Awkward scene.
I knew
it was like,
coming.
"Hey, can I sit next to you?" And she was like, "I'd rather you didn't."
Not. And then he's like starts crying in the middle of the conversation.
Oh my god,
dude,
that's a weird scene.
I was like, okay, no, he sits next to her and she pushes him away. Maybe he's into her. He gets it. He understands she's not into him. I get it. Yeah. But then he starts talking about like, the girl he married, or whatever. And then he says like, in high school I really liked you. I was like, oh, shut up.
I was like, dude,
stop talking.
She's married. Obviously, like, why are you doing this right now?
No, it was so like, and like I don't ever get awkward. I don't ever cringe. Yeah. That was a really good cringe moment, because when he says, "I really liked you in high school," or whatever like that, like, "You were really cool in high school," it's like, oh, shut up.
Yeah.
Stop talking. You're about to say something really stupid. And then he starts crying, and like combining this Asian guy with this like heavy like North Dakota accent, like was not what I expected to see. And that alone was like, that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really good part.
And I also love the scene where the Steve Buscemi's character, the kidnappers, they kidnap Will H. Macy's wife.
Yeah.
And then she's like running around, and they're just like laughing at her because she's like,
she's like blindfolded and everything, and her hands are cuffed, and she's like trying to run away, and he's just like, "What are you doing right now? Like, you can't go anywhere. Like, what's your plan? Like, you can't even look."
Yeah.
So there's nothing you can do but just laugh at her and like how stupid she's being right now.
This is how dark this movie is the fact that Will H. Macy is, first off, he's trying to get his wife kidnapped so he can get the money, rent some money out of it.
Right.
His wife gets killed.
Yeah.
His wife dies.
Yeah. He gets killed by the really stoic, weird-looking guy who doesn't like talking. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Will H. Macy goes to jail.
Yeah.
For setting it all up.
Right.
His father-in-law gets killed by Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Their son is left with nobody left.
He's just stuck there.
Like he's in the house, and then
his dad tried to get his wife kidnapped. He killed his father-in-law, and killed his wife basically by hiring these people. It's just
his son has such and like in the beginning of the movie, like you kind of don't feel bad for the kid at all because he's kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
And he like curses off and mouth off to his parents and all this other stuff, and all of a sudden he's like talking to his dad after his wife gets kidnapped, and he's like, "I miss her so much," and I was like,
I think speaking of Will H. Macy, like, because obviously he's the main star of the movie.
Right.
When you first see him like trying to sell that car to that couple,
oh my god,
like, he keeps mentioning the true
coat. Like, oh my god! And then he brought it up.
The true coat.
Yeah, and then he brought it up later with the other dude.
The other guys.
The other guy he was trying to sell to. He was like, "Yeah, the true coat's really good. You get it."
I don't need a true coat.
Yeah, he's like, "I don't need no fucking."
Yeah, you need a true coat. Yeah, you don't need a true coat at
He's
all.
like, "Yeah, you're right. You don't need a true coat. You're right."
It's like that was like so perfectly like timed, and with the accents. I mean, I think if the accents weren't there and the dialect weren't there, like, I don't think it would be as funny. But since the dialects are there, and that's kind of like how they talk, or like the hyper version of how they talk. Right. That's why it's really funny. I mean, just like that scene where he's trying to sell the car. Yeah. Like he already promised them at a certain price. And he's like,
and then he's like,
"Oh, you said 19,000. I'll talk to my boss real quick."
Yeah, and then he's like, "How's the game going? You have an extra ticket? Oh, you don't? Okay. he said he'd take $100 off.
Well, he's like, I don't do this very often. He starts smiling.
Yeah.
I don't do this very often, but I can take off $100. $100?
Yeah, like, are you
that's
serious?
nothing for a car.
Yeah, like you just charged me an extra $500. Like, are you serious right now?
I don't get this whole. It's.
I don't get that whole scene at all. Like, I don't get. I guess it's just to show that he's like really having money issues. I guess.
Well, this movie does have a lot of scenes I think that serve no purpose.
Yeah.
That's a scene that serves no purpose. The scene where the True Coat scene later on has no purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, they serve no purpose. No, or the scene with at the end of the movie where it's the what is her name? Frances McDormand's character.
It's,
I can't remember her name.
I can't remember her name either.
Well, when her character
Marge.
Yeah, okay. When her character is with her husband
Yeah.
in the bed, it's like, why is this scene here? Does it really
Yeah.
matter?
I think it was supposed to be like a little bit of light in the dark, I guess, is the only thing I can think of. It's like kind of she can go home and like she has this happy life with her. Now that I guess it's kind of like to show the dichotomy, because it's like William H. Macy and like his wife were kind of like really, they weren't close at all, I don't think.
Sure.
At least they don't show him that way in the movie, and it's like the weird relationship he has with his father-in-law, like kind of being like pushed over, and his father-in-law is basically like a bully to him.
Yeah.
It's like kind of the opposite of what Marge and her husband have, and it's like they're really close, and it's like she like kind of supports him and all, and the fact that they can be that close, and like he can tell her like, I didn't do that, because it was like something about like, I guess he's like an artist or something, and he made,
I think.
yeah, and he made some design for a stamp, and it's like it wasn't like the best, like I apparently didn't get on like a highest stamp as he wanted, and it's like the fact that he can like tell her that, and it's like,
See, with that though, I don't necessarily think that. I get what you're saying. I get to that to an certain extent. I understand what you're saying. I agree with you to an extent, but I don't think her, because she's pregnant, which should be mentioned. She's pregnant the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't think necessarily. This is maybe just what I took from it, but the scene where the Asian guy calls her in the middle of the night,
right,
and they're in bed. Her and her husband are in bed, and they get the call.
right,
And the next day they're at like brunch, and then the detective or her partner or her coworker comes in and brings her paperwork, says, "Hey, here's these cars or whatever,
yeah,
which are William H. Macy's lot." And she says, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the city tomorrow, anyways.
yeah,
I'm going to the city after lunch, anyways." And
Yeah.
then her husband's like, "You're going to the city?" So to me, it felt like the way that the scenes were worked out, like her husband heard the phone call and said, "Why are you going to the city?" and assumed that she's going to meet him. So I thought that maybe he thought that she was gonna go cheat on him.
yeah.
That's how I felt from it. You know.
I could see that too. Yeah. I mean, I think going back to your point about there being pointless scenes in this movie, one of the scenes that I originally thought was pointless was that scene with the Asian in the bar. I originally thought that really served no purpose, and then I looked back and watched the movie again, and it's kind of like how I talked to you earlier about how she's really naive. I think that moment where she gets a call from one of her friends, and it was like, yeah, he was really like a stalker to this girl or something like that, and like she doesn't have cancer at all. Like, you should go call her. Like, she's totally all right. And I kind of think that was like, they used that moment to kind of like show her getting away from her naivety. Like, obviously this guy was lying to me. Maybe he's not the only one that's lying to me, and that's why she goes back and talks to William H. Macy's character to like kind of figure out like, look, I know you're lying to me about this car. Like, I know it was in your lot. Like, what's going on? And then that's when he runs away. And yeah.
No, totally. I completely agree.
Right.
I mean, there's things that I don't think should be there that serve no purpose.
Right.
I really they really hinder my enjoyment of the movie.
Right.
I mean, some of them are funny, like like the scene where he's trying to sell the car to the couple,
Right.
or the other guy. I get those scenes. They're really kind of trying to like develop that character a little bit more.
Right.
I'm fine with the other scenes where it's like he's talking to like the guy who hooked him up with Steve Buscemi's character, like the Indian guy. Why do we care about that? One time's fine. You don't need 2 times without having him show there. You know, it's stuff like that. I mean, now the scene between the Native American guy and then him beating up Steve Buscemi, I get that scene. That makes Steve Buscemi get pissed off. I get it.
Yeah, and that's the reason that the whole thing goes down that night. I didn't really understand why the father-in-law was in the house. I guess because he just wanted to be there in case they called. But
well, because they I imagine when your daughter is kidnapped, you're trying to be together with everyone so you can in case something happens.
Yeah.
But also the scene where they're in the car, Steve Buscemi's character's in the car, and he's like telling the guy like, "You don't fucking talk," blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I didn't care for that scene at all.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me. I was like, what does it matter? I mean, Steve Buscemi was being Steve Buscemi's character and like talking a lot and basically annoying everybody with how much he talks.
Yeah. I mean, I get the joke.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a funny scene, but
yeah.
I mean, didn't care for it.
The character he played in this movie seemed very similar to me, the character that he played in Reservoir Dogs, Mr. Pink. It was that same type of thing where it's like he's trying to be all philosophical, but he's really not in a sense. He just talks a lot and makes it sound like he is. And he's just like blowing smoke up his own ass. So it's just, I don't know.
Sure.
And the conversations he had with his partner, it doesn't really make any sense at all. I didn't really understand them at all until the end where it's like they're trying to divide the money and all of a sudden they're having this big argument. It's like,
I get the car.
I get the car. It's like,
I went out there. I got shot in the face. I get the car.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that was funny.
Zach, final thoughts on
this
Fargo?
movie?
Great movie, man. I enjoyed it a lot. I didn't think it was as funny as I thought it was gonna be, but it was still an enjoyable movie.
Was your first time watching it?
Yeah, this was my very first time watching it. I enjoyed it a lot. I really enjoy the Coen Brothers, so seeing a movie like this, some of the earlier work was really great. It wasn't as funny as I thought it was, and I thought there was useless scenes, but overall it was a great movie. I would totally watch it again.
Sure. All right, for me, I mean, I've seen it before.
Right.
It's been a while since I watched it. It's probably been like 8 years since I watched it last. It definitely enjoyed it a lot less than I did the first time.
Right.
Well, that's probably because I've seen more movies since then.
Yeah.
My tastes have changed.
Right.
I think it's still a fun movie. I think it still has really funny scenes.
Yeah.
But I do really hate, like I said, those pointless scenes. They really do hinder my enjoyment of it. I would rather watch other Coen Brothers movies versus that movie if I had to pick.
I agree.
But Fargo's still good. Totally good. It's fine.
Yeah, it's still a good movie. But I feel like, there are other movies of theirs that I enjoy a lot more, like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah,
that's a really great movie of theirs.
Totally, yeah. Which is funny, which is even funnier, I think.
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh, yeah,
funnier than Fargo.
You betcha. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's even funnier, yeah, totally.
But yeah.
But yeah. So, guys, thanks for listening to this episode of the Zach J. Six Stuff Podcast. If you want more articles, which we'll be posting up this week, make sure you go to our website at theextendededition.com. Zach, where can they find us at?
They can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Zach and Jay's Ticket Stubs. They can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/Ticket Stubs Podcast, where you can comment, let us know you're out there, like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. You know the drill. Find us at Twitter at ticket underscore stubs.
Stubs, yeah.
And then you can follow us on Twitter as well. Me, I'm at Zach Austin Tyler. Jason, where can they find you?
I'm at Super Ultra J.
Oh yeah.
J is Jayy.
Jayy, that double Y action.
So,
is that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it.
That's mostly everything. Thanks again, guys, for listening to this week. I highly advise you guys go over to our website at theextendededition.com because we post all the greatest and latest and movie news, TV news, and we have articles and stories. Also, my full series review on Dexter will be up sometime soon. Hopefully, it's been a month in the making. At some
can't wait to read it.
Yeah, at some point, maybe we'll get more articles from Zach. Whatever it may be, we'll definitely
in the future start writing more.
Yeah, be there, check it out. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, signing off.